Every single week it feels like we hear the exact same story. Some big tech company announces another round of mass layoffs, and the CEO gets on camera proudly talking about how AI is making them so much more efficient. And look, it's a scary story. But what if I told you that entire narrative is, for the most part, a lie? All right, let's really get into this and see what the data actually says.
Okay, so here's the number they really don't want you to focus on. In just the last year, there have been over 1.1 million layoffs across all kinds of industries. Now, of all those people, how many jobs were actually eliminated because an AI directly replaced a human? Less than 5%. So what in the world is going on with the other 95%?
Well, there's a name for it: AI washing. And the incentive to do it is it's huge. I mean, take the dating app Bumble. When they announced layoffs and spun it as part of an AI initiative, their stock price shot up 25% in a single day. It just goes to show you, Wall Street absolutely loves the idea of AI efficiency, whether it's actually real or not. And that powerful incentive, it's created the perfect shield. Companies are now using all this AI hype to hide what's really going on behind the scenes, which is frankly massive, unforced errors by management.
To really get this, we've got to rewind the clock to 2020. Remember that? Interest rates were basically zero, money was cheap, and it felt like growth would never end. So companies went on this absolutely unprecedented hiring spree. Amazon, for instance, literally doubled its entire workforce. But then the world opened back up, interest rates started to climb, and suddenly these tech giants were left seriously overstaffed. You could say bloated.
Right, so a CEO just can't go to investors and say, oops, our bad, we made a huge mistake and hired way too many people. I mean, that looks totally incompetent and it would tank the stock. But what they can say is, we are leveraging AI to streamline operations. See, it's the exact same layoff, but it's got this futuristic, innovative spin that Wall Street just eats up.
So the story they're selling to the public is that AI is ready, right now, to take over all these complex, high-skilled jobs. But when you actually start digging into the data, a very, very different picture emerges. One that shows AI just consistently failing the test.
So get this, a recent study from Scale AI took 240 real-world freelance projects from a site like Upwork. We're talking about things people actually pay good money for, like 3D modeling and data analysis. They handed these jobs to the best AI models out there. And the result? A staggering 97.5% failure rate. The AI could only do the job well enough for a client to be happy about 2% of the time.
And believe it or not, it gets even worse when you look at software engineering. The top AI coding agents were tested on maintaining real-world code, a core job for any developer, and 75% of them failed. And they didn't just fail to fix the problem. A lot of the time, they actually broke the existing code, making things so much worse.
And this isn't just some lab experiment. This is happening in the real world. At Amazon, where engineers were basically forced to use these internal AI tools, one of them, it was called Kiro AI, actually suggested deleting live production code just to fix a minor bug. The result was a 13-hour outage for the site and literally millions of dollars in lost sales.
Yeah, and it wasn't a one-off thing either. Another Amazon tool, Q AI, somehow managed to make 6.3 million customer orders just vanish from their North American system. So here's the key takeaway. AI isn't replacing senior engineers. Right now, it's just creating more cleanup work and babysitting for them to do. So that begs the question, right? If the AI isn't actually ready to do the work, why on earth are companies firing the humans who can? Well, for that, you just have to follow the money. This was never really about replacement. It's about reallocating capital. This slide just puts it so simply, it's perfect. They are not firing you because a robot is a better engineer. They are firing you to free up cash to pay the enormous electricity bill for the data center where that robot is being trained. You can think of it like the AI infrastructure trap. So, step 1. Every major company feels this intense pressure to join the AI arms race. Step 2. They start spending billions, with a B, on specialized chips from companies like NVIDIA and on these massive data centers and the insane amount of power needed to run them. And then step 3. To fund this huge, long-term gamble on the future, they have to cut their current costs. And what's always the biggest line item on the budget? Yep, human headcount. Okay, so this brings us to what's probably the most important part of this whole thing. With all this hype and frankly fear in the headlines, how do you find your signal in all of this noise?
Well, first off, the tide is already starting to turn. A recent survey of over 1,000 executives found that 55% of them, that's over half, already regret replacing human workers with AI. They're citing things like drops in quality and customer satisfaction. Reality is starting to bite back.
I mean, just look at the fintech company Klarna. They famously boasted about replacing 700 customer support jobs with an AI chatbot. But it wasn't long after that their own CEO had to come out and admit that the quality of their service had suffered and customer satisfaction had plummeted. They basically moved from the hype phase to the reality phase, real quick.
So that really is the core question, isn't it? For every developer, every student, every tech professional out there right now, amidst all of this chaos and noise, where is the real signal?
The signal is this: focus on the durable skills that AI, at least in its current state, just can't touch. We're talking about building and managing complex, interconnected systems, deep expertise in cloud infrastructure, the ability to solve messy, high-stakes problems in the real world, and maybe the most important one of all, applying human judgment and context to make critical decisions. These are the skills that become more valuable, not less, in a world where AI is a tool.
The tech industry isn't dying, it's just optimizing. And as things get more and more complex, the demand for people who can actually manage and direct these powerful new systems, it's going to explode. So stop reading the layoff news. Don't get paralyzed by the PR hype. The single best thing you can do for your career is to just get back to building.